a Wikividi Documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Peaky Blinders. The Peaky Blinders were a criminal gang based in Birmingham, England. During the Victorian era, members of this gang wore a signature outfit: tailored jackets, a lapel overcoat, button waistcoats, silk scarves, bell-bottom trousers, leather boots, and peaked flat caps. During the 1890s, the slums of Birmingham were overtaken by violent street gangs who, upon the turn of the 20th century, became highly organized with their own systems of hierarchy. Their violent tendencies led to vast amounts of political control and social power. A gang known as the Sloggers were the first major rivals of the Blinders and fought them in postcode battles over land. The Peaky Blinders held various levels of control of Birmingham for nearly 20 years, largely concluding in 1910, when a larger gang, the Birmingham Boys led by Billy Kimber, overtook them. The gang's history is covered in the BBC programme of the same name, Storying an Alternate History, where they contend the underworld positions of the Birmingham Boys in the Sabini gang. Name. The name, Peaky Blinders, is popularly said to be derived from the practice of stitching razor blades into the peak of their flat caps, which could then be used as weapons. Historian and criminal profiler John Douglas asserted that these hats were used as a weapon of choice for members. It is believed that members sewed razor blades into their caps so they could headbutt enemies, essentially blinding them. Reports alternatively issue that members slashed the foreheads of enemies, causing blood to pour down into their eyes, temporarily blinding them. Birmingham historian Carl Cheyne believes that the name comes solely from the popular usage of the word peaky to describe a flat cap with a peak. The word blinder was a well-used term in Birmingham, and even to some extent today, to describe one's dapper appearance. Outfit. Members of the gang frequently wore tailored clothing, uncommon for gangs at the time. Almost all members wore a peaked flat cap and an overcoat. Their sporting of the flat cap lends itself to debate regarding the naming of the gang. The Peaky Blinders wore tailored suits, usually with bell-bottom trousers and button jackets. The weather conditions of the slums prompted members to incorporate leather steel-toed boots into their outfits. Wealthier members wore silk scarves and starched collars with metal tie buttons. Their distinctive dress was easily recognizable by city inhabitants, police, and rival gang members. The wives, girlfriends, and mistresses of the gang members were known for wearing lavish clothing. Pearls, silks, and colorful scarves were commonplace. History. Low economic growth in central England led to a violent youth subculture. Poor youths frequently robbed and pickpocketed men walking on the streets of slum Birmingham. These efforts were executed through assaults, beatings, stabbings, and manual strangulation. During the 1890s, youth street gangs consisted of men between the ages of 12 and 30. The late 1890s saw the organization of these men into a soft hierarchy. The most powerful member of the Peaky Blinders was known as Kevin Mooney. His real name was Thomas Gilbert. However, he routinely changed his last name. Many of the land grabs undertaken by the gang were initiated by him. The most violent of these youth street gangs organized themselves as a singular group known as the Peaky Blinders. After select gangsters attacked a man in 1890, they sent a letter to various national newspapers declaring themselves as members of this specific group. Their first activities primarily revolved around occupying favorable land, notably the communities of Small Heath and Cheapside, Birmingham. Their expansion was noted by their first gang rival, the Cheapside Sloggers, who battled against them in an effort to control land. The Sloggers originated in the 1870s, known for street fights in the Bawdsley and Small Heath areas, extremely poor slums of Birmingham. In 1899, an Irish police constable was contracted to enforce local law in Birmingham. However, police corruption and bribery diminished the effectiveness of his enforcement. The most prominent members of the gang were David Taylor, Ernest Haynes, Harry Fowles, Stephen McNichol, and Thomas Gilbert. Fowles, known as Baby-Faced Harry, was arrested at 19 for stealing a bike in October 1904. McNichol and Haynes were also arrested at the same time for stealing a bike and home invasion, respectively. Each was held for 1 month for their crimes. West Midlands police records describe the three arrested as foul-mouthed young men who stalk the streets in drunken groups, insulting and mugging passers-by. Taylor was arrested at age 13 for carrying a loaded firearm. The Peaky Blinders, after they established controlled territory, began expanding their criminal enterprise during the late 1800s. Their activities included protection rackets, fraud, bribery, smuggling, hijacking, robbery, and bookmaking. Historian Heather Shaw of the University of Leeds claims that the Blinders were more focused on street fighting, robbery, and racketeering, as opposed to more organized crime. After nearly a decade of political control, their growing influence brought on the attention of a larger gang, the Birmingham Boys. The Peaky Blinders' expansion into racecourses led to violent backlash from the Birmingham gang. Peaky Blinder families physically distanced themselves from Birmingham's centre into the countryside. With the Blinders' withdrawal from the criminal underworld, the Sabini gang moved in on the Birmingham Boys gang and solidified political control over central England in the 1930s. As the specific gang known as the Peaky Blinders diminished, their namesake was used as generic term to describe violent street youth. The gang's activities lasted from the 1890s until 1910. In popular culture, the BBC television drama series called Peaky Blinders, starring Cillian Murphy, Sam Neill and Helen McCrory, premiered in October 2013. It follows a single fictional gang based in post-First World War Birmingham's Small Heath area. Many of the scenes for the show were shot at the Black Country Living Museum. Brought to you by Wikividi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?